everybody. Welcome once again to an edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are very happy to have with us a special guest. And Sam, would you like to do the honors?
Well, he is the voice of Spartan Bowl.
The voice of Spartan Bowl.
Larry Meyers.
That's all you need to say.
That's right. And I always say that he has those melodious tones.
Larry Meyers, is that you?
I'm always going to look that up to see what that means.
What that means.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Larry, you're the voice of the Spartans at Spartan Bowl, and you've been doing it for how many years?
32.
That equals Sam and his play-by-play work?
Pretty close, yes.
You guys?
Yeah, there seems to be a year difference there. He's probably right.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of Spartan games?
I've seen a lot. As a matter of fact, the other day somebody asked me how many I'd seen, and I don't know whether you've done this or not, Sam, but I calculated somewhere in the area of 1,400 games with doing a JV and over the 32 years. When somebody asked me, what was the, what do you remember? I said, gee, I don't remember a month ago, 31 years ago. Yeah.
So it's a lot of ball games because the JV and the varsity games.
Right. Yeah, it's been enjoyable, and it's gone in a hurry, really. Yeah.
Boys games, girls games?
I started out just doing boys, and then they needed someone to do the girls games, and they asked me if I would do it, and I started doing it, and it was okay. I enjoyed it, so I did both of them.
Who helps you, Larry?
I've had different people.
Sure. Yes.
Coy Powell for a long time. Of course, Coy passed away a few years ago, and Bob Powers.
Sure.
Bob had helped, and since Bob is gone, it's been kind of a struggle getting somebody to do it.
What's their primary job?
Oh, they keep track of files and keep the score.
Okay.
So we call it unofficial scoring at halftime and at the end of the game, and just to keep the people informed, the crowd.
So they have to be very attentive and everything.
Yes, you do. I think Sam can. Well, you know that too. You lose your concentration, and you got a big problem.
If you sit there and try, and if you're a fan, you can't be a fan. You've got to watch.
Right.
You've got to watch the game.
Right. Yes. And I've done that before. I try not to, but occasionally your mind wanders a little bit, and something happens, and you're lost.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very easy to do.
And that person can help then too. Yeah.
Any special games can you recall?
Oh gosh. Not really. Like I say, I've just seen so many games, and I've seen a lot of great games, but nothing particular.
Well, it's hard to remember those games.
Sure.
To pick one out and say this is the greatest game I've seen. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Players, I don't know, Sam, whether you have any favorites that you've seen, but
there have been some good ones, and I always think about the girls and back in the late '90s when we had that terrific team.
Great teams.
And of course, our new athletic director was part of those teams, Andrea, and having a Miss Basketball during that time and following a Miss Basketball was something, I think. And then the Matt Howard years, but we've had a lot of good years, Larry, besides those. But those are the ones that stand out. And then more recently, I guess, Grant Smith becoming an Indiana All-Star. Anytime you following an All-Star, and Fran, you were able to follow some as well.
Yes.
That it's pretty special.
Yes, it is.
I tell people, especially on the girl side, April is, as far as I'm concerned, she's the best that I've seen from the ladies' side. She could do anything and did it.
And still contributing. And part of coaching staff for
great
the
person.
Dallas Wings.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
She could do it all, definitely.
Sure could. Yeah, anything you needed done, she seemed to be, even though she wasn't that big, she could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was quite the athlete for CHS.
And she just keeps right on going. I see now she's an assistant coach at Dallas in
Dallas.
the WNBA, which is great. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Let's talk about the recent ball games, Sam. Two different ball games completely. Friday night and Saturday night.
And Saturday night, yeah. Friday night, we went to Mount Vernon, place you're very familiar with.
Oh yes, I left my mark there.
And always a hard place to play.
Absolutely.
And they always have a good team. They're always very competitive. And they started 3 freshmen the other night and had several freshmen on the team. Their JV team was good, but one player that stands out in my mind, his last name was Erdl. We're going to be hearing a lot from him, and another kid, Smith, Julian Smith, I think was his name. Pretty good freshman, but I think our senior leadership that we have was what carried us through and won that game 75 to 70. Did it with, James Williams injured his ankle, and he was very limited the other night.
Yes.
They started Braden Taco Pearson, and I thought he did a good job, and as did all the kids. But I think just our experience and having all those seniors probably carried the day for us up there. But it was a great win, and just felt good about it coming
How
home.
did the Spartans score 75 points? That has to be one of their highest.
Well, yeah,
in years.
It does, and it is. And Coach Brown said afterwards, he says, "When was the last time we did that?" Well, I got a text right away from Brent Duncan, and he said it was last year when we had South Decatur here at the holiday tournament.
Huh.
So I went back and looked at all the times we'd scored 70 points or more, and it's pretty rare, but an interesting thing was that the team that we had scored 70 points against the most over the Kerry Brown years was South Dearborn.
Really?
So it's just funny how that popped out at me.
That's where Kerry coached for
He
a while.
coached there for
yes.
a while.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's one of them games that we have them that are in the 40s that we say every possession counts.
Yes.
And is important. But this was just as much that way. I guess at the time it didn't seem like we were scoring that much, but we were getting up and down the floor. Coach told me in the pregame interview that they like to get up and down the floor and shoot 3-pointers, and that we're more of a 2-point shooting team, but when we do shoot the 3-pointers, it's higher percentage. But we were matching them. I think they had 10 3-pointers and we had 9, so we were right there with them.
Quite an offensive show by both teams.
Yeah, it was. The place was packed, and which makes it fun. It's not a very big gymnasium, but it's always fun when it's packed. And I think that the people around there know that we're going to bring a quality team
Yes.
to their gymnasium.
It was quite a surprise to see the score
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to listen to it. I mean, 75 points by the Spartans is just almost unheard of, really. That happens very rarely.
Very rarely. I think we had a game earlier in the season where we scored 63, and that might have been against Rushville. Was our high on the season.
Did the defense stay home for both teams? Or?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I thought both teams played defense pretty well. The shots, we shot well over 50%. I think up around 60% on the night. So shots were dropping.
It's good shooting, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Then Saturday night, we had a home game.
we ran into a buzzsaw there. And
Jennings County.
Jennings County, and Larry got to see those. Larry, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect from Jennings County. I looked at who they played and so forth, and I thought, well, maybe they haven't played that strong a schedule. But wow, when I saw them, I was very impressed.
And their lone loss,
Center Grove.
Center Grove by 2 points. So
Yes.
it wasn't like.
Yeah, right.
So, and they play a pretty tough schedule in Central and Southern Indiana.
Yeah.
They rebounded well and they followed their shots. And early on, I thought, well, we're going to take hold here, but we just never
couldn't do it.
Never could really catch. We got to within 9 there early in the fourth quarter, I believe, and I thought, well, okay, this is going to be our run right here. but they built it back up.
Yeah, they had us 10-2 right out of the box, and we just never could get back at them. No.
Yeah, it's tough when you have to believe from behind. That's
Sure.
hard for a team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they, where do they feed through the tournament, Sam? Do you know?
Down Seymour and down in
okay, that area.
I don't know where their sectional is.
I
but
looked at that today, and I can't remember where it is, but I mean, the teams that are in it, they had by far the best record of anybody. So they should win their sectional easily. It looked like.
a lot of their conference, I think, is also some of their sectional. Bedford and maybe Jeffersonville and some of those down south central Indiana.
Yes, down in that area. Reaches to the Ohio River, probably down in that area. Okay.
Seymour, I think maybe. I don't know whether Seymour's in there or not. They're
I
not
think
that
so.
far from
Right.
Seymour.
Yeah, they're really close.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
We have some of the highlights, or maybe you call them lowlights from that game when the Spartans beat Jennings County at Spartan Bowl Saturday night. So let's look at those right now from TV3.
had a good crowd the other night on Saturday night. A lot of times our crowds aren't as good on Saturday, but there's Josh going in.
Josh has really played well. He just seems to get better every game.
Yes, he does. And has a smile on his face most of the time. And he's out there talking to the opposing players. And
Yeah.
there in the second quarter, you can see we're down 12 and cut it to 10. But just kind of struggled offensively at times. Although we shot the ball pretty well, it just seemed Jennings County were able to get more shots off. I know turnovers something that Coach Brown talks about, and we had too many of those. Just, like I say, I kept expecting them to come back, but they just kept doubling up the score. There was 36-18, and there Blaine Hornsby on that catch. That was a nice move.
Nice.
Just took that big step, didn't put the ball on the floor and laid it in. I think he's coming along very well, Larry. You know, I think our effort was there all night. It's just the little things.
It's a nice second effort. That's what you like to see.
But Jennings County they were long, and just played well. They were able to out-rebound us. And there's the final, 51-38. Some long faces on the Spartans, but they got an opportunity to come back this weekend and play another great team.
Are they mostly upperclassmen or seniors or
On
their roster for Jennings County?
I don't
they were
recall.
kind of mixed, really.
Oh,
They
were
had
they?
a lot
Yeah.
of seniors.
Had some underclassmen.
Yeah, and they
play.
had a great JV team. They had a great JV
Really?
team.
Yeah.
They beat us pretty bad, I think, and they were big kids too.
Yeah.
So
That JV could have beaten a lot of varsity teams.
That good, huh?
Yeah, they were good.
They've been on the Jennings County been on our schedule for very long.
Yeah, off and on.
Off and on.
Okay.
But I think that they just come here, and they have a big gymnasium down there, and we've been down there and have done several games. But and with the girls as well, they were on the girls' schedule for a while, but they want to play at Spartan Bowl, and I think that we had them here last year, and I think the year
I
before.
remember it last year, and I thought maybe it was a home and away, but apparently not.
No, and usually, sometimes we get that home always here with the smaller schools, but not so much with, that's a 4A school.
That's true, yeah.
One thing I want to go back and mention Friday night's game. We had 3 dunks by 3 different players. And none of us, coaching staff, and none of us can ever remember where we had, now back during Matt Howard and Zach Henderson was there, we had both of them dunking the ball in the game, but to have 3 different players dunk, I don't know, some of our viewers, if they can remember, contact us, because we'd like to know that, if anybody else knows of that.
Who were
Well, Josh and Lucas. And Braxton.
Braxton.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know with anybody. I know early, 5 o'clock, 5:30, when they're out there shooting around, they have a dunk contest usually. And I think there might be somebody else in that group that could do it too.
Well, I'd
'Cause they're out
I'd
there-
say Blaine can. He's
yeah,
long enough to
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably when his ankle's good, that James Williams be able to dunk as well.
Yeah.
That would be a few more, yeah.
If they lowered the goal about 5 feet, maybe I could. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's only 10 feet from the floor, so
yeah,
I mean,
right.
shouldn't be a problem. Well, Larry, how about you? Is that beyond your?
Yeah.
Your
that's
ability
beyond
right
me
now?
too, yeah.
Okay, coming up on the schedule this week, no ball game until Saturday afternoon.
Right.
North Davies will be the opponent for the Spartans. Non-conference game. North Davies, new to the schedule, replacing Lawrence North,
yes.
Yes.
and pretty tough team. They've only won 16 ball games and lost 3.
Right.
And they are the defending 1A state champions.
So,
I didn't realize that.
But had to move up to 2A because of enrollment, reclassification. But they didn't want to play in 2A, so they're playing in 3A.
okay,
So I got to respect them for that.
sure, right.
I'm not even sure where North Davies is.
It's down in the Vincennes
Oh, it
area,
is?
Davies County. Yeah, down
Okay.
down that part of the country.
That'd
And
be a trip
there's
for
some
the
good
kids.
basketball down there. Linton Stockton and Lagodi and teams like that, Bar Reeve, they're all small schools, but all very competitive. And remember, they used to, back during single class, they used to send teams like that to
Yes.
semi-state and
Yes,
Final Four.
those names
Yes.
are all familiar.
Yeah.
Right.
Very much so.
So ought to be a good one. Their coach is from Rushville and knew Carey, knows Carey. And
Dalrymple.
Dalrymple,
Yes.
and wanted to bring his kids to Spartan Bowl. And so it's a good time to do
Sure.
that.
Coaches want to do that because they want to get the kids accustomed to playing in that type of surroundings, which is great.
Yeah. So only one boys game this week, and hopefully we got 3 girls games, but
Yeah.
only one boys game.
The girls start Tuesday night
Right.
in Rushville, Perth Dearborn, first game of the sectional, and as you say, the first of several, we hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, we defeated South Dearborn earlier in the season, I think, by 3 points. So
I think it was.
I think it was a great draw for us. And then Lawrenceburg got the bye, so when we win tomorrow night, then we will go on and play Lawrenceburg on Friday night. And we played tough with Lawrenceburg. I think losing by 4 or 5. So anything can happen here. I like our chances of making a championship round.
It would be great for the girls.
It sure would. Yes.
They've been improving, but they've
Yeah.
had some problems the last few ball games.
Had some tough competition. We went down to East Central on Thursday
Yes.
night. East Central is a good basketball team. They had several seniors. I was glad to see that was senior night. We won't see them, but I'm sure Coach Harder feels the same way. But the girls play a tough schedule. We started out with 4 or 5 really tough games and ended up with 4 or 5 really tough games. So
Yeah.
But the coaches like that for the most part. They want to play
well-
tough competition.
I think it gets them ready for tournament time.
Pardon?
Gets them ready for tournament time.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Gary Brown always said, well, we're just practicing for the tournament or the regular season games.
Yeah.
So that's good.
What's too bad is that this year's tournament that we won't hear the voice of Spartan Bowl during the tournament because no tournament games being played here.
It's a shame.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
We
You know,
don't-
back when we were hosting the 2A regional, I like that. We got to see Yogi Farrell play and some
Yes.
other great ones.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Coach Beeline was here watching him, and I got to go talk to him. You know, it's things like that
That was
pretty
good
cool.
times. It was like old times, those 2A sectionals we had.
But we
here.
were just too far away from the city.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to come. Yeah.
Yeah, Too bad that they don't want to travel to Connersville and from the big city.
Right. They get to see the best high school gym in Indiana if they come.
Absolutely, but maybe one of these days they'll come to their senses.
Maybe.
After that North Davies game this week, we have East Central coming to town, and they are 5-11 on the season, which is a little bit unusual. And you talked about really their girls' team is a little bit stronger than the boys' team at East Central, isn't it?
A lot stronger. Their girls' team played in the Hall of Fame Classic up at Newcastle this year. So
of course, when you go to football, though, it's a whole different story with East Central.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think they dropped their first 8 games and then won 4 in a row. And I thought, well, maybe this is a little bit of a football hangover or something.
Could be.
But they have placed the banner in the gymnasium down there, the 2022 4A football champions. So they wasted no time, and I was glad for them. You know, somebody from our conference to win that.
The Spartan, you get to play them during the regular season.
Yes, we'll go down there, play them at their place this fall.
After the East Central game on February 11th is New Palestine. They're 15-0. So
that's another one, tough one.
that's another team that'll be moving in here. On February the 18th is the game of Franklin County. Franklin County is a little better, but not quite as good as they have been in last couple of years. I think they're 8-8, something like that on the season.
But still, that's a rival game, and they mark that on their calendar. And so
look to go down there. It's tough.
It's a tough place to play, and no letting your guard down there.
Should be an exciting game though. On the 18th will be Lawrenceburg, and they have a record of 14. No, they're 13-4, so that should be a fun night.
Coach Cutter was an assistant here under Carey, and he won the sectional here last year with his team. So
I'm sure he would.
Very well coached.
He would love to come in here and win another game.
And Northeastern closes the season. They're only 14-3, so and they're a 2A school, but they should play. They should be 3A at least.
They play. They play a pretty tough schedule.
Yes, they do.
They do, and again, Northeastern, to go there and play is always tough. Very tough.
It's a tough place to play. It sure is. Right.
Always good competition, and you think, why are we playing these schools? People ask, why are we playing a 2A school? Well, we didn't used to worry about the A's. We just play good competition, and that's what we're doing.
That's right. Yeah. They're, like I said, they should be a 3A team. I mean, they have the staff and the coaching people that know what they're doing. So it'll be a tough game.
Maybe people keep moving in there and their enrollment will go up.
Probably will.
Like it did at Centerville.
Yeah.
Centerville moved to 3A this year because of enrollment.
Right. So it's an exciting time. But the Spartans are 4-0 in the conference.
Yeah, with 3 games left.
Right. And so that would be East Central.
They're in the driver's seat if they can keep it between the lines.
Right. They've beaten some Greensburg, which is usually one of their top opponents, but they've got Lawrenceburg, East Central,
and Franklin County
left on the schedule. So some interesting games coming up.
Yeah. They could still, even if they lost one of those, they could still win it, but be better just to win it out, and then you don't have to rely on anybody else.
That's true, win it on your own and without anybody's help. Let's take a look at this week's schedule at CHS. On Monday, the middle school's basketball will be at East Central. Boys freshman basketball is home with Richmond on Friday night. Gymnastics is home with Morristown. On Tuesday, girls basketball sectional begins at Rushville. Lady Spartans meet South Dearborn. Swimming will be home on Tuesday with Muncie Burris. The middle school wrestling team is home with Greendale on Tuesday. On Wednesday, gymnastics home with Columbus East. Girls sectional continues at Rushville. On Thursday, the freshman basketball team will be at Shelbyville. On Friday, the sectional semifinals. On Saturday, the Spartan basketball home with North Davies. North Davies at 1:30 for the JV game, followed by the varsity at 3 o'clock, and it will be varsity. The sectional will be continuing at Rushville at 7:30 for the title game, and we hope Lady Spartans are in that.
I hope they are.
Hope so.
Because anything can happen at tourney time.
That's true. Even the weather.
Yeah. Well, we're taping this on Monday, and we've seen a little bit of that today.
Right. Hopefully it'll straighten out and won't be a problem with people getting to the ball games back and forth and everything. So, Larry, you all ready for the next ball game coming up here?
I'm ready, yes. I had forgotten until I looked there Saturday night that game was going to be Saturday afternoon. We play so seldom like that, and
Yeah, well,
forgot about the sectional.
All the sectional games
Yeah.
are at night, so
Right,
they clear
right,
all teams clear that Saturday in case hopefully their team will be in the sectional
Yeah.
finals. So
Speaking of sectional at Rushville, this is a little off center, but Steve Johnson, I don't know how many people know Steve. He's been the scorer for Rushville boys and girls, gosh, as long as I can remember. Great guy, and Steve has had some serious health problems, and he has some cancer problems. He went in the hospital first of the month and had surgery, and he's just really had a terrible time the whole month, and he still hasn't recovered from just from the surgery. They haven't even started any treatment on him yet, but his wife puts a update every day on Facebook, and he is really struggling, and she's asking for prayers from everybody, and they certainly are rallying behind him in Rushville. Yeah.
hopefully that will help.
Yeah.
You make a lot of friends at the opposing teams coming?
Sure you do.
Okay.
Year after year, you see these people, and some of the people I only see them every other year because I don't see them like he does every away game. And it's funny that you still feel like you know all those people, and you maybe only see them once every 2 years. But yeah,
It's
make
kind
a lot of friends.
of a fraternity.
Yes, it is.
And I guess a sorority as well. But,
Yeah.
yeah, like the other night, Joe Ammerman from WJCP in North Vernon was there, and I've known him ever since I can remember. A terrific guy, and about my age probably, that's still doing it.
Once it gets in your blood, I'll tell you, it's tough to,
Yes.
to stop.
It is.
Yeah.
And,
How many years did you do that?
well, I started in '52 and went until '78,
Wow.
and then I was out until John had me come on to do TV, and that's been 14 years ago now. So I've had a great run.
Yeah. Well, you do a great job.
Well, thank you. I
very
appreciate
much.
that.
Yeah.
I always like to say I grew up listening to him, and
Yeah, that really makes me feel good,
Well,
Sam.
but you know that I needed, and you both have helped me on air, and to me it was such an honor the night that you were able to set in, and
Yeah, you needed to fill in, and I
Yeah.
happened to be around,
and I got to do a game.
You
game
yanked me by the
with
shoulder.
a legend here.
Yeah.
well, it was a great thrill to be able to do it, and it brought back some memories.
Oh yeah.
I got to work with him a couple times on a TV game a
Yes.
couple years ago. That
Yes.
was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like you say, it's really neat to get to work with him.
Yeah, and you and I have done several
Yeah.
radio games together, and part of the fun of that is going and coming and talking,
Sure. Talking.
talking on the way and on the way home.
Sure. Very
Well, Larry
much.
Meyers, it's been a great pleasure to have you join us here.
Well, I've
and,
enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
and
I
we
watch
hope
your
so.
show. And
Yeah, it was nice
Yeah,
to put your
good to see
voice
you
with
again.
the folks. Well,
Yeah.
same here, and I appreciate all the help that you've given me and everything over the years, and it's been fun.
Okay.
Sam, I know you enjoy having Larry around. You put him to work every ball game for him to give him the lineups over
Yeah.
radio, and I know the people
I
appreciate
think
hearing
that just adds something different.
Sure. Right.
Having him do the introductions.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Have a nice evening.